told your friend you're not okay? And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away.
Welcome to the Journey of Life podcast powered by Zozo, the brand. If improving yourself, elevating and educating yourself is part of your life's goals, this is the podcast for you. I'm your host, Dr. Tendaishe Monalissa, bringing you another episode of the Debrecen Diaries. And as per tradition, we have a special guest host. Make sure you follow the page on Instagram at JOL Podcast on Instagram, your podcast, good podcast for the people. Follow me at Tendaishe Monalissa on Instagram and follow our guest host. I will attach their socials on the description of the episode. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much for having me. Hello, everyone. It's nice to be on the podcast. My name is Jason John Ogbe, aka DJ Jogbs, aka Chef Jogbs.
Come on.
You can name it all. Yeah, I'm here and there, I try.
Yeah,
Thank you for having me.
We're here for it. Where are you from?
I'm from Nigeria. I'm from Kogi State, actually. I'm Igala, one of the so-called minorities in Nigeria.
This is the first for me. I always try to learn all the not so common ones, so now I have.
We are a bit rare, but that's why we're rare. We're nice. We're the best of them. They don't know it yet, but we're coming. Igala for the queen.
We're here for it. We're here for it. I really appreciate you coming to the podcast, and
no problem.
It's nice to come back with a bang like this,
Yeah.
After grad and all the business.
Congratulations,
Thank
by the
you.
way, doctor.
And
it's
all
not easy.
It's been so hectic, and I really wanted to stay consistent. I did not want to miss a beat, but I felt a little bit ill. I was just like, hey, I need to recover.
Yeah.
But I'm going to come full force. I'm going to replace every episode that did not come through during my hiatus.
Just coming back with bangers.
Yes. And I'm unemployed now, so.
She has a lot of time.
Yes. To give you guys some good old content. So of course, in the spirit of the podcast, the Journey of Life podcast, we have an education segment. And as I know Jason, he is an event planner, he's a DJ, or party planner. I'll say event because I don't think it's going to end there at the parties. I believe in you. So in relation to IVO, I think IVO has taken Debrecen by the storm. And, when you guys started, I was seeing this thing and it immediately caught my eye because of, the luxe feel. And I'm about that luxury fam. I'm about that VIP section. I'm about that. I'm not trying to struggle. And if I'm not going to have that, let me just stay home.
We need more of you.
Yeah, but the prices though.
Nah, but it's we'll get there. Don't worry.
Yes. So, if I were to start event planning, how did you think of this and how did you decide to do this?
Okay, so first things first, it was not just a me thing. Yeah, we are a team. We started out as a team of 3, and then we became a team of 5.
Nice.
Yeah, and now it's more. We are a team of 6-ish. We've grown by the grace of God. Yeah. So each of us, funny enough, before we met, we had at some point tried to start something like IVO before. Yeah, but it never really went off past the meetings and anything.
I see.
So, but then when the time came, we all met and then we figured out this was something we had a passion for. So first things first, you have to have a passion for it. You can't just you can't just say you want to throw a party and then throw a party.
Of course.
Yeah. So we had a passion for it, and then we were ready to invest because in everything, it's a risk. You have to reason if you are willing to put in your money or not, because like not everything gets back to you. And then, okay, we looked at the possibilities of doing it. Funny enough, we had a meeting with Eli, but then it never worked out with Eli
I see.
for some reasons. And then we were like, we are still going to try. And we were not giving up. And then we came up also, you have to have an identity.
Of course.
Yeah. You have to have, it's a brand.
Of course.
That you
and
are trying to.
Speaking of this, sorry to cut you off. Like, what does IVO stand for?
Funny enough, it doesn't really stand for anything. So we were looking for a name that, was catchy and could be reminded in the minds of like people. And then Mariam came up with the name. Yeah. And then she was like, what do you think about IVO? And then
it's
we were like,
cool.
it just resonated with everyone. We're like, yeah, IVO is something that party with IVO. And then that was how Party with Ivo came up, and then we're like, okay, this sounds right, because we want our brand to be like, yeah, like there should be no like specific anything to it. You get me?
So you
like,
can grow it as far as you want to.
Yeah, because Ivo, trust me, is more than parties.
For sure.
Trust me, like the whole idea was more than parties. So we're trying to do more, and then eventually we'll get there by God's grace as well. So we are seeing other possibilities and things. We even have our own party shop as well. So it's not just on Instagram.
Yeah, plug it. Tell them, give us ads.
We sell like things we rent things we use, props we use from our parties, if you want to
maybe
use
have
it.
your little event.
Exactly.
You see, I've spoken it into existence. I said event planner, events.
And then so that's Ivo. There's no real meaning to the
There's no
name.
Box to put you guys in. And
there's no.
I'm here for it. I think one of the things that I think we've seen a lot of events come and go in Debrecen. I've been here for a while. I've seen different, event or party planners and everything like that come and go. But I think of everything I've seen so far in Debrecen, like IVO has its like own specific identity that's really different. You guys really brought something very different.
That was what we were going for.
It was
actually.
Yes, something very different. Like there's a difference. Like we know that, okay, this is Party by IVO. We know that this is a Russo event. We know that this is, you know what I mean? Like, and I love that you guys are having your identity and you're picking your niche. I feel like it's a really good way to thrive in different things.
Yeah, because I'm someone particularly that likes to, I don't like the normal method of doing things. Yeah. So if there was like another possible way of trying to do something different, I would rather opt for that before taking the normal way. Because I feel like the normal way sometimes could be easier. Yeah, it's normal for a reason. So it could be easier, and like people appreciate difference more.
For sure.
Yeah, something they are not used to once in a while.
And speaking of that, like, you coming to do something that's different, like what are the difficulties you faced? Because I feel like in business, you have business related like challenges, and then you're planning an event for people. So I'm sure there's also people related challenges. So maybe we could start with the business wise, like what's been the difficult stuff you'd have to go through?
So the difficulties we've had to face, the major difficulty we've had to face, which people do not know, is actually venues. Because first things first, you go into a meeting and then they see your color. Oof. And that is a whole different conversation.
Go ahead.
Okay. So they see your color and then the conversation changes. They are not really trying to help you. It's either you can book it fully or
That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
Mm,
So, and then the venues are limited in Debrecen.
I see.
People do not know.
My friends do die.
Yeah. But I mean, we've always tried. I mean, we were the first to use Chicago. We pride ourselves in that. We opened up Chicago. People never knew there was Chicago. We opened up Chic as well. Chic is a nice place where we did the Amapiano night.
I didn't attend this.
So Chic it's a nice place, but it's not a big venue.
I see.
So we opened up Chic. We are trying to, pick places where our customers, because that's another thing in business, know your customers. Yeah. And also try to help your customers, because we pick places where, at the end of the night, you can go to McDonald's.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really
or
thoughtful.
Taxis are easily accessible, because the thing with school is it's far.
Yes, from everything.
From
besides
everything.
school.
Yes.
That's
There's
so
a reason
true.
why, if you look at our portfolio, you see we've not used some certain venues. It's not because they are bad venues, but it's because when we think about our customers, one time I went to one of them, and then in the cold, I waited about 30 minutes to get a taxi.
Oof.
In the cold. And I was like, I wouldn't want to put anyone through that.
Yes.
In all
and
honesty.
these are real things.
Yeah.
I think there was a time there was some event at Clinica. It was so hard, to get taxis there, and it was cold. And when the event is done, Hungarians about their time, they want to close, and you guys are stuck outside in the cold. So
and
I think it's great.
Even
that
in
you're
city center,
considering
when
this.
at the end of our events, trams are working sometimes, so you can easily even use a tram home. Like that reduces cost for everyone.
Yeah.
And then ever since even the inflation, people keep on forgetting is a business. Yeah. Things increased for us as well. But we never really made the whole fuss about it by, hiking our ticket prices. No, we try to, work with our consumers, because we know, okay, if we put it at some price, these people will complain. But okay, let's put it at like the minimum possible.
We can. But isn't that like also making things like difficult, because I would imagine that probably in other places, like people or event planners, they don't have to do things necessarily this way. So is this challenge due to the fact that we're in a student environment, or it's a Debrecen thing?
I would say student environment.
Okay.
I would say, because trust me, some of the things we want to do, we can't. Like,
because of the demographic of
our ideas. Trust me, like Ivo, we pride ourselves in our ideas. That is another thing, because what we do, we don't see it anywhere else. That is a fact. I've been to so many countries, like I've parties in other places, and I see what event planners do. Yeah, and I see the effort they take. Yeah, like honestly, I don't quote me anywhere. I said it. Yeah, they don't do it as Ivo does it.
Come on.
So like I can name so many instances, and I don't know. People actually do appreciate our efforts. Some people do appreciate our effort, and that's what keeps us going. Like we have a lot of supporters, in Debrecen, and we really, really appreciate you guys every single time.
Shout out to you guys for keeping it, real.
I can't mention any names, that would be cheating, but
I mean, you could. People
but
will be
they know
fighting in the
themselves.
streets.
They know
People
themselves.
will be fighting in the streets that wait, where's my ad? Like, yeah, I can imagine that it's not easy, but I think you guys are doing a great job, and you should, continue doing your thing. Like, we're here for it. We're here for this, like, elevated way of partying that's really creative and engaging and like memorable. It's not just like, oh, we went to this party. Like, there's always these little things going on. It's really, really nice to see that. I think I'm no longer out there doing that anymore. But like, I love to see like Debrecen grow in many different ways. Like I see the city growing in, even just student opportunities. I see you guys growing in the things that you're pursuing. Like you I think we're a different generation, you know, like where entrepreneurship is at its peak and everybody is trying to be creative. So I think it actually pushes our creativity like forward.
Yeah.
And
because you want to be the best at the end of the day.
and I feel like the competition as well is so important because it improves the quality of the product. So if we're competitive in a healthy way, of course, and whether it's the event planners, it's the braiders, the makeup artists, it improves the quality of the product. Like I'm sure in a couple of years, students will be producing like world-class quality. You won't even tell that we're budgeting, we're doing this, we're doing that, you know. I mean, hello, this podcast, if you see the ghetto-ness that I was going through, but you know, I think the content is what people want and the quality is what people want, and everything will come in its own time. I was really curious to know, I think one of the most memorable parties, in fact, probably it was your first party that I went to. I think it was really memorable for me.
The very first one?
I think so. I've only been to a couple. Yeah. But I've definitely seen like that uniqueness and everything. There was always like a theme, you know, there's always a theme, there's always like a vibe going on and everything like that. I think I went to it was the Y2K, no? It was one of the first couple ones, maybe. I'm not really sure.
In Chicago, yeah?
Yes.
I think it was the Y2K.
It was the first one, right?
That was not our first one, no.
Which one was the first one?
Our first one was all black, I think. So my friends. We had an all black. No, I don't think so. No, our first one was actually all white. Sorry. Our first one was all white in December. Crossover period, yes. That was our very first one. We had an all white party.
But it's not last December, right?
No, because last December we celebrated our 1 year.
Yeah, I was there for this December all white.
So yeah, that was our very first one.
Yeah, but I remember like this themed party that was really different was the Y2K one, because I think we've always had like all white, all black, all this, but like I thought that was such a cool, creative vibe, and it was so cool. It's really,
people really turned out, and people showed out.
We were seeing all these
Genevieve. The funny thing is that every of my events or every of our events, I'm shook at the amount of people that actually go out and take an effort to show up and show up good. Like
I remember back then, for Gumball, people used to be so creative. You see the girls, they cut up their t-shirts, they make some. I'm like, this was just a regular t-shirt. Like, how did you?
It was meant to be
top. Now it's like this, this little boho things going on. I'm like, this is so cool and creative, and we need those outlets to let this creativity out. And I think it's been pretty cool to see, to be honest. I think one of my faves, I wish I had attended, was last Halloween when we did Mariam's Halloween look and she was Medusa. Like, it was so exciting. It was really, really exciting.
She had to have won the Halloween contest.
That wouldn't have been fair, though.
Yeah, but how
can you
we are fair here.
How can you plan the event and just completely take over?
I mean, like
it was amazing. It was a really nice collaboration. I was so happy. Like, I love being in my creative space with hair as well. So it was a nice opportunity for me as well. Guys, check out the creativity that is going on in the outfits and the everything. If you want to see Ivo, go to Mariam's page. Like, she kills it with the outfits. She's on point with the themes. Like, and I think it's so important, I think, in business, because I thought that this education segment, like, would be great to give people advice for whatever they're planning. Like, be the greatest advocate for what you're doing. You show up the most with it. Like, if you have a theme, you're the one who's on point.
That's how like, we are always serious, all of us.
Value your
work. We're not here to joke. You should see us like, that's how you know we're serious.
When we see you, like, we can't just show up. Go back to do your makeup. Go back to draw, I don't know, one crazy eyebrow or eyeliner, because the theme is on point, and you're taking your things seriously and you value it. Like, people will treat you with the respect that you give yourself, you show yourself. The moment you value what you do, people value it. And the amount of value you put on it, that's what you teach them. You teach people how to treat you. So I think you guys have been doing great and setting a pretty good example. What is the most memorable event for you that you've planned so far?
That's a lot. I'm not
for you guys.
Okay, so in Debrecen, um, the first one, I think, because that one holds like a place in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
Because funny enough, like I will just use this as an example. Why? Because people who never, they only came for the first one, and that was it. Because to come and show their support.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so like we have, that's another thing. Like throughout the times, we have to appreciate our support, like our
Mm-hmm.
friends,
Mm-hmm.
everyone supporting us. Because like even without asking people to post now, people just post our
Mm-hmm.
things, and we are grateful. Like it's
Mm.
shocking. So the first one, then I think the 1 year anniversary, because that was one of like a big test for me as a DJ as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously it was a 1 year anniversary. I'm not trying to joke,
Messed it up.
with
Yeah.
it. And then we took a risk with that one. The Halloween as well. Yeah, the
Mm-hmm.
Halloween, because the Halloween was a huge risk, especially with the Visit Me one going on. We were like, are people gonna
The
really show up?
competition.
Yeah,
Mm.
because we're like, if people go for that one, why would they come out again? Yeah, but
Mm.
people actually came out, and we were
Mm-hmm.
shook. So like that one, we took a huge risk. Our hearts were in our mouths on the day,
Hey, I can
even on the day.
imagine.
So we're like, God, please. But yeah, I think those three top it. And then there's Page, because we had one in Page
Mm-hmm.
recently
I
in
remember we
September.
were talking
Yeah,
about it the other time.
yeah. And then we were shook.
The
We
turnout
were
was good.
shook.
Come
Wow. We were
on. That's
just,
lovely.
I was in awe. I was
Maybe I
like,
need to go to
wow.
Page, raise somebody there.
Like, and that's another thing we would try to do. Debrecen people, Page people should try and come to Debrecen for parties. Debrecen people should try and come to Page. It
Yeah.
breeds like, a different, because at the end of the day, Debrecen people, we know what you all say, like, it's the same set of people you meet outside and things.
Yeah.
So like, change cities is not every time Budapest,
Yeah, because honestly,
right?
what I actually enjoy about going out is the socializing, the like meeting new
New people,
people,
yeah.
just connecting, making connections with people. I think for me, that's one thing I really enjoy about like being outdoors and everything like that. I think you've really touched on a couple of important things. So guys, this is it for the education segment. Of course, this is life. We never stop learning. And we're going to get into the second segment where we're just chilling.
Could we, before
Of course.
we get into the other segment, let me just say something.
Mm-hmm.
We are not perfect.
Mm.
But every time, trust me, we're striving to get to perfection. I know, like, I hear people's comments and things about us, like, good or bad majorly,
Really?
But yeah, people talk in Debrecen. Yeah.
Nah, let's address that right here. Yeah.
I mean, I personally, it doesn't get to me because, like, if you know your achievements, then no matter what they say, it can't really get to you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know that for the people in Debrecen, I can beat my chest that like 70% have had one of their best parties with us in the city.
Okay.
I can say that confidently.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I know, even if like people always make comments about DJs and something, but people always forget. Like, this is where we're going to now. Some of us, I learned DJing a year ago.
Mm.
I'm not close to being as good as I want to be,
Mm-hmm.
but trust me, I can shut it down. Like,
come on,
I can shut it down.
Come on,
but like,
confidence.
I hear,
yeah.
I take I love critical. This is what I love. I love when, if you have a negative, not negative, if you have a comment about something, there's a way you can say it, rather than just putting it out there. Like, funny thing is that I used to read a lot of Spotted Debrecen where people go on Anonymous and then talk about our parties and
I
things.
unfollowed the page because
I like to see what they are talking about.
Of course, because that's the way for you to improve.
And then most of them, I can't take it seriously because I laugh. Because I'm like, if you wanna, there are negative comments that I've seen that I've taken and we've improved on that. But there are some negative comments that are like, you did not
There
come
is
out
no
to have a
reason.
good time. It's
Yes,
so obvious.
you came to
Yeah,
criticize
like
everything
you came to
possibly
criticize
wrong.
everything, and then like people from that same party, a lot of people had a good time. So like,
yeah, and I feel like sometimes, like, unfortunately, you really can't please everybody.
yeah,
You really can't.
honestly,
If you can please more than half of your demographic, you're doing okay. And I realize that, like, you know, even with making relationships, you're not for everyone. So even certain services that you're giving, it's not for everyone.
True,
So
very true.
you can't kill yourself trying
Yeah.
to please every single person. Of course, you want, you know, everyone to have, you know, but I think there's some certain things that require people to have maybe a certain eye for certain things, a certain like for certain things. And some things are just exclusive. Some tastes are just that exclusive.
But
So,
you know, even what even shocks me is that with like the people that come out is that I'm like, the music, yeah, I feel the music is very good on our nights, but people feel like there's a whole lot of amapiano. And I'm like, honestly, in 2023,
That's
if
what's
you
raining.
don't like amapiano, then honestly, like, just maybe stop coming out. Honestly, because I'm like, there's
But maybe people are
amapiano
feeling-
is what anywhere you go,
Yeah, that's
anywhere
actually
you
true.
go, amapiano is winning. Is almost, I'm shook by the growth of amapiano.
You know, like there's Afro piano now.
Yeah,
It's just,
it's
buzzing
raining.
everywhere.
So if you like,
Yeah.
people actually walk up to me and say they don't like amapiano. Honestly,
But could
I'm
it be
shook.
possible that there's a way to bridge this gap?
It's
In, you know how you know, there's always these parties that have themes as well. Like, I don't know if it's like a rock party, a WAP party. Maybe it can help that demographic that doesn't enjoy amapiano or is drowned out because it's just like it's everywhere and people are tired of that. They want to hear something else or something different. I don't know. Personally, I love amapiano because I love it. So yeah, but I can definitely relate to feeling like, oh, can we hear something else? This is overdone.
yeah. Okay, no, but that is different. Yeah, I get where you are coming from. Yeah, when something is overdone, like there are some songs that, you know, like even me as a DJ, I don't even like playing them. I only play them on request now because I feel like, let's try and move from there.
Yeah, there's
like,
more.
There's
more
way
to,
more.
There's more to hear. There's more to listen to. Yeah.
But the thing is, with this city, I feel if you play a song that is not really a hit, yeah, it's a nice song. It could be a very nice song, but if it's not like a hit, the dance floor mood
kills
changes.
The party
yeah,
immediately.
Yeah, so it's like, in as much as there's more, there's only so much more that the crowd wants to hear.
Exactly. So it just keeps you stiff. Because I think also, like, you're also paying attention to your crowd.
Definitely.
Yeah, so
definitely, because I know
there's no way to listen to, I don't know, somebody in the corner of their room in Augusta typing on Instagram.
There are some songs that now I can't, like, they are my playlist, but like in Debrecen, I can't play them because like it changes the crowd's mood. Like over time, I've gotten used to the crowd and I know like an inch of what they expect, you know, and I know some things, you know, maybe they are tired or maybe they just don't enjoy it as much, but it's different in other cities. Every city is different.
I see.
Yeah,
I can
every
imagine.
city is different. So it's not that Debrecen is different. No, it's like everywhere I go to is a different
You have
thing.
to look at the crowd and feel what their vibe is, and then you kind of go along
Sometimes
with that.
you take the risk, you test it out, you test out some things, you know, you see where their head is at, and then you continue on that. But you don't leave, obviously, you don't leave the crowd standing too long because you are trying to experiment. Yeah, like, no, that's not what they came out for. But, you know, a song is 2 minutes or you can cut it short. Sometimes you have to cut it short.
Yeah, personally, I hate it so much. Why are you playing the whole song in the club? I just want, you know, the climax of the song, that part. it's for me, that's it. You need to be hitting all the climaxes of the song. And I feel like I'm that person. Like, for me to enjoy, I want to hear my favorite songs, but this is different for everyone. So I can imagine how hard it is to like get to like a balanced place where everyone can have a good time with all their different tastes and vibes. Like, personally, I don't really like all this like trap.
Really?
Yes. Like, I got out of trap like so many years ago. It just completely kills it for me. I'm like, why are we listening to this? I don't know who this is. I don't even know the song. I've never heard it before. And the trap kids are trapping, and I'm like, what is this? So I totally understand. Like, you really can't please everyone. But there's some nice trap songs that, I'll just be bumping to still. Yeah. So
music is timeless.
There you go. Yeah. Well, at least some of it. At least some of it. Yeah. I mean, I think we'll get deeper into your DJing and that aspect of things, because I just actually want to ask you, we transitioned just smoothly. We're not even just going to address it. Yeah. We're not going to address it. But yeah, like, firstly, how are you? That's my question for you.
Now, when you ask me questions, I'm always like, who are you asking? Are you asking DJ Jogbs, Chef Jogbs? I have like, are you asking Jason?
I'm asking Jason.
I'm okay. Mm-hmm. I'm okay. I'm settled, Mm-hmm. I'm happy.
That's a good thing to hear, I think for someone to say that I'm happy, like, I hope it's not just something you're saying with your lips, but I don't know a lot of people that will say that they are happy if they're not really feeling it. Maybe they'll say they're okay. Mm-hmm. I'm fine. I'm what? But I'm happy. It's a good place to be. It's not an easy place to get to, I think. But like, how was your experience in Debrecen throughout your time here?
It's been full with ups and downs, like, it's been fun. Mm-hmm. At some point, some points I just want to throw the whole city off
the cliff.
But yeah, Debrecen is one for my books, definitely.
A lot of growing happens here.
I made a lot of friends, had a lot of support here,
What hurdles do you feel like you've overcome, or an experience that you feel comfortable sharing? Maybe I can go first. Okay, go on. While you have a little, thought about it. I think, recently, actually, I've been listening to this podcast. I was listening to it this morning, and this is an American lady, former Miss Universe or Miss USA or something like this. She's now a motivational speaker. Her name is Dr. Deshauna Barber. So I really like her content, and it's really helped me like to just channel myself better and think about certain things and learn a lot of things from life experiences. And she talked about how there's always these like pits before something really great happens in your life, and they come in order to test. They're not there to bring you down and for you to lose your pathway, but they're actually there to test your strength or to improve your strength, because there's going to be even bigger things for you to handle. So for me, I think that experience has been, I think I've already talked about it in a previous episode. I think one of those experiences this year was failing my state exam in May. But I don't think that it put me down that much, because I think I had that sense of myself at that point that, this thing is coming. Yeah, exactly. And so I had a bit of confidence. But I think for me, I hit some kind of rock bottom, like a good part of last year. And it just felt like I could never come out of this space. And I feel like this was the rock bottom that happened, that was just before the rise, the rise of everything. And for me, I feel like it's not even like a specific rise that maybe other people see externally, but I think for me,
only you see it.
No, but people are weighing maybe certain achievements that you can, that are tangible to them. So I've graduated, that's tangible to other people. But I think for me, it's like the mental improvement that happened. But the low that happened before that was, wow, it shook my world. So I think that's one of those experiences I felt in Debrecen. Like, I was really depressed, I was really feeling discouraged, I was feeling confused about a lot of things, and I think working through that and not deviating, you know, from my path, and like trying to stay on my path, trying to keep like focusing on those things, you know, because maybe I didn't feel like doing some of those things I'm passionate about. Passionate about braiding, you know, I'm passionate about, you know, using my voice, and all that had kind of died. But the point of that was for me to evaluate myself, improve my strength, not deviate from those things, you know, actually, because if I gave up at that point, then we wouldn't get here. If I gave up at that point, this podcast wouldn't be here. If I gave up at that point, maybe I wouldn't have graduated at this point. So I think, yeah, that's, you know, I always feel like, well, I'm a Christian and I strongly believe in God, you know, speaking and having his messages to his people, or whatever other people choose to believe. I don't know, the universe or whatever. And I really, when I was listening to the podcast earlier today, I really felt like, there's a reason why I'm hearing this today. And maybe it's because I had to say it on the on the podcast and share that, and probably somebody needs to hear this. It could be you, or it could be somebody else. Yeah. So I think for me, there's been plenty of those types of experiences, and I probably will share a lot of them. A lot of them, as you know, you get comfortable. I think when you get over certain things, they don't become something you're holding.
Definitely.
Yeah, and then you can freely like talk about it. But if you're still dealing with it, like
it's like, yeah, you're not sure if you should let it out, or just, once you conquer something, you feel like, okay, no matter how bad it was at that point, it's over now. Yeah. And you can do whatever you want. Share it, laugh about it, you know, cry about it again if you want to.
But you know what? I shared my failure before the success came.
Yeah.
And I thought I think that's such a bold thing that I had to do. Yeah. Because guess what? What if I failed my state exam this time? But I was like, you know what?
You believe in yourself.
I guess. I guess more than I gave myself credit for. But I think there's also like a very big strength. I wouldn't encourage people to do it.
But I mean, there are sometimes you go for an exam, and even if you don't pass on the A chance, you know yourself. You're like, I didn't do that.
Yeah, but this was a pretty big one, you know, to be parading that, you know, because like, of course,
but it was not as if you were just telling strangers. You were telling people who were close to you.
I put it on my podcast.
Oh.
Yeah. So. Okay. But I think it's one of the most listened to episodes that I have, because I think it was really, really in a vulnerable moment for me. But I think I found so much strength in sharing that because of the amount of encouragement I got, and how relatable, you know, because I think you start to imagine that, oh, you know, people are going through things, but then they overcome them, and you only see them overcoming. But in that moment when you haven't overcome, it feels like it's not going to happen. So I feel like for people to see that, no, even if you're in a down moment, you are down. Maybe the overcoming is coming, but later. But in that moment, you feel down. And even that, you know, to find someone relatable in that down moment helps as well. Yeah. But anyways, back to you.
But even, okay, so let me just speak a little bit about my whole DJ
experience.
Lifestyle. Experience. I started DJing about a year ago. The reason why I started DJing, funny enough, is funny because I feel people tell me I'm business oriented, but it's true. How I live my life is business. Yeah. I looked at it and then I said, because of the way things were going, I said two things were going to happen to Ivo one day if we did not have our own residential DJ. Yeah. Either we cannot afford a DJ anymore, or there would be no DJ available on the day we want. Because it has happened a couple of times. But people don't know this. So I looked at it and I was like, having our own DJ,
our resident DJ,
means that no matter the hurdle, you know, we are going to overcome it. Knowing that even if it's one person playing throughout the night, like, okay,
we're gonna make the event happen.
Yeah. So that was why I started learning how to DJ.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I did not pick it because I love DJing. No, I fell in love with it along the line, but I was like, yeah, it seemed like a cool profession, but yeah, it didn't seem, back then it didn't really seem like something.
Yeah.
But people told me, oh, you could be a DJ. I mean, when you're playing Spotify playlists at house parties, they're like, yeah.
Me too. Sometimes I even think I can be a DJ.
Because the first time I looked at it, the whole cost of becoming a DJ, and Fernandez spoke about it the last time he was here. Someone I rate highly, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah, so he spoke about it. I looked at the cost and I was like, is this really something I'm trying to invest in? Because at the end of the day, I'm not really getting, it's my business.
Yes.
So it's for the success of my business.
Yes.
So it's not as if like I'm really getting that
Profits.
much money from it. No.
Yeah.
Like it's an extra
It's
thing.
your investment.
It's my investment.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, cool. I spoke to a couple of people, had help here and there, and then we made it work. When I bought my deck, it was like a shock. I was like, okay, this is really happening. I was like, okay, you've already bought it, so like you can't.
There's no going back now.
That money is not small. But so okay, I started learning it. I used TikTok here and there, used YouTube, used whatever. I was grasping at straws, to be honest, because what I wanted to really do was too expensive. I wanted to go for an in-person class with somebody, but it was too expensive, and I didn't even have the time with school. So, whatever I saw, my TikTok just all of a sudden, I don't know, it started changing to, I've seen a lot more DJs.
They're really tracking us, hey? They're really watching us.
And I was like, okay, like I followed the beginner videos, started there, YouTube. Then I did a course on DJing. Then along the line, I actually thought to myself, I was like, I'm a DJ. This is actually an avenue for making money, like as my own self. So, I found my way around it. God opened some doors here and there, and then it started working out. And then I was like, okay. I started loving it gradually, even before the small money started coming in.
When the money comes in, the love just goes.
But I figured that, this is something even on the side I could do to getting some pocket money or something to sustain myself on the side. So I was like, okay.
And that is enjoyable because now you even enjoy it as well, which is a plus. Yeah.
And then, like, I have, people who, like, and one thing I always say is your support group is very important. The people who are telling you can do it, the people who believe in you is very, very important. Because trust me, my support group is rock solid. Like, rock solid. So, like, that is very important for everyone.
We're literally,
even if you don't take anything from this podcast, take
your
support group. Know who you have.
Like, appreciate those who show up and also show up. I appreciate all my friends because they're my friends. Even I complain to them. A friend of mine, I complained to her that you guys don't take videos of me. And the next party, she started taking videos of me and sending to me. I was like, wow. And there are people who have traveled with me to wherever I'm going to, So it's not because they just want, they want to have fun, but it's also because if I was not doing it, they would just have sat in their house. Not part with their resources to, join you.
I'm doing it also, I want to be, for a gig, I want to be able to fly all my guys,
Why not? Why not?
So, that's the goal. That's what we are working towards. But that has been my journey so far, and don't worry, there's more to come.
As DJ Jogbs. How do we pronounce this?
It's Jogbs.
Jogbs. So the G is silent.
Name. John, yes.
I see. Come on. Oh, I see. That's so cool. It's really interesting because when I was thinking about what I wanted to talk to you about, because I knew that you're a DJ and I wanted to explore that, and I knew that you and Mariam, I don't know the other partners, you're here with party with Ivo, and of course, because I don't have more than 2 microphones at the moment, I can only not interview. Oof, I hate that. I can only have a conversation with one person at a time, one co-host at a time. But I really wanted to, but I had already talked to a DJ. And I was really but I want to do an education segment so that people can learn something that is outside of something we've already talked about. But I realized that even as a DJ, your journey is different. It's actually very different from Ruben's. And I think people can get to see that not everything that we come to love comes from a passionate place all the time. Some passions grow. So that's why it's important to try out things, or they say necessity is the mother of invention. A lot of us, for example, with me, I eventually fell in love with braiding and doing hair, but the real way it actually began was I just didn't have someone to do my hair. So I started to learn to do it on myself. And from then, figuring that out, then other people are like, oh, could you do my hair? Could you do my hair? And initially I was like, no, I know how to do my hair. And then it grew, and it's something I absolutely love. Yeah. I can safely say it's something I'm passionate about. I enjoy it. I'm constantly thinking about ways I can, make this bigger than what it already is and everything. So, your passions can grow out of different places. So don't limit yourself that, but I don't enjoy this, so it can't be my passion. Yeah.
Try everything out as much as possible.
Yes.
If you have the time, just you never know what works for you. You never know what you would fall in love with at the end of the day, and you never know what would bring you money at the end of the day. Because last, that's what we are all striving for, no? Mm-hmm. So you never know. So just take a walk down a different lane that you have never tried before.
And it may be something that's different from what you're seeing around, There's many ways to, I guess, improve yourself or find things that you'll be passionate about in life. Because I feel like it's a very fulfilling thing to find those things, because I think for some people, it doesn't come that easy. Yeah, so I think when you find those things, it's definitely that... it's nice to working is hard, any work, even the work that you enjoy. Yeah. So the very least is to be able to do something that you can stand, that, you can come back the next day and it's it's not the end of the world. You're what, I'm really on the edge now, So yeah, it's been really nice, having you on the podcast, and you being open-minded to come on here and just to talk and to speak your mind. I think maybe sometimes I'm too much in my head, because I always feel maybe people are going to think that this is a little bit odd, or they're going to feel self-conscious and whatnot.
The idea of a podcast for people to listen on its own is already a good idea. Mm-hmm. So it's just for you to, share a bit of your story on there. If you feel like you have a story to share, mm-hmm. because if I was just a boring person, I would have been like, what's Tendy trying to ask me about?
The funny thing is that I think the reason why I'm really maybe a very people curious person is because I feel like everybody has something to say. It's just maybe different ways of getting it out of them. And maybe this is the skill that I'm trying to develop and, be keen because I feel like there's a lot of maybe certain personalities that have so much wisdom to give, but we never get it, because maybe they're just not as outgoing, or maybe there's not a unique way we're able to get, that value out from them. So I think for me, that's why I really want this podcast to be a journey of life thing. It's a chill thing. We're just talking about life. And I feel like those things, they just come out naturally,
Even with Ivo, funny enough, people who, the things you see on our pages, some, for example, someone who created some of our last posters, I never knew he could he's in Debrecen. I never knew he could, create posters.
Oh, wow.
And then he just one day, sends me a poster. And I'm like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah.
Like, you can actually do this. Okay, we are open to, helping you, and you help us in, in a way we can all benefit from. Even we try to, as much as possible, even grow people's businesses in Debrecen. That is one thing we've actually tried to do. We've tried our best to do it.
And we feel the support,
It's not just, it's not just about parties. It's about, we are a community.
Yes, absolutely.
Everyone can eat, or whatever people say. Everyone can grow and build. Like, it's not just us that has to gain.
Yeah, of course.
It's everyone can gain.
Yes, that's
if
true.
Everyone is willing.
There you go.
Everyone can really. So that's our view. That's our perspective. Like, a lot of people, it's true. A lot of people do have a lot. I'm shook by the talents in Debrecen.
Listen,
a lot of people have talents in Debrecen
that are so unique.
Like, wow. I'm like, okay, people are really doing things here. It's just some people are shy. Some people are not really out there. But props to everyone really trying to do something. Like, especially take it, be different. Even if you're not different, let your own look at what other people are doing and let your own, try to stand out.
Yeah. I think the other day, my mom is around. Yeah. So she was listening to some, I think it was like a Zoom meeting thing for youths. And their guest speaker was like talking about like entrepreneurship and everything like that. And, it was really interesting because I was like, wow, I had a client, so I was braiding at that time. So she was like, oh, would this disturb you? I was like, no, I want to listen to it. And they were really talking, about, trying or making effort, like what you're saying, like when you have, use the resources that are around you, make an effort, do this, do that. Don't just be thinking, oh, but, and he was, encouraging, like you're saying, the youths are complaining, oh, we don't have capital, we don't have this, but you have this phone that costs so much. You can get, a less expensive phone and invest that money in like these small things. There's a way.
People don't want to hear that.
You see what, and I was like, man, this guy is actually not wrong. There's a lot of like things that are, if we're saying that we're that desperate, you know what I mean? If we're saying that I'm that desperate, I really want, some extra money that bad, then it's not that bad if you're not ready to make any sacrifices for it. It's not going to come on a silver platter. And I was like, yeah.
People appreciate professionalism. Because
I, for one, definitely.
That's one thing I know that people appreciate that, because I think, like, if anyone has had an issue with Ivo that something was not delivered or something, one of us has personally even gone to apologize. Like, how we reply, because I see some things, how you reply people on Instagram, it makes, trust me, it goes a long way. Reply people as if it's your business page, yes, but people know who is behind it, yes.
Of
but
course.
Sometimes aim for a level of professionality. If you want to be guy, then go to your private page. Like, if you want to have a chat with them on a personal, like, there are so many times people message your page and I send them to my private store, because I see like my private page, because I see what they want to talk about. If it's not professional on
if
page,
it's not business, then
like, if it's not business, then so
no, I'm even learning a thing or two.
The little things.
Yes.
Like, why are you sending our page memes?
No.
That's not what we are here for. Like, if you want to send this to someone in particular, send it to one of us. But don't send our page memes. Like, send us things that
they're not related to what we are about.
And don't expect us to, reply
or engage
in something that is out of our jurisdiction, because we have a brand we are trying to protect at the end of the day.
Of course.
Because you don't know, one day somebody on Twitter will just put screenshots. And that could go a long way. That could end your business or something.
Yeah.
Like, so,
And especially when we're operating at like such a small scale right now. It's different from McDonald's having a Twitter account where they're going off, They already have business and they're now relating with their clientele in a completely different way.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure they do not do that in their meetings behind closed doors. Now it's another way of expanding their business in that way.
Oh, yeah.
But for us, it's different. We're still building it to that point. Yeah, so everything. Yeah, I think that's one of maybe some of the struggles that, like, personally I would feel, but not too many times, that I wouldn't even say unprofessionalism, but I feel like it is a quality of it. You know, maybe someone is messaging me on my hair page and they want to, like, book their appointment, and they would just, I wouldn't even say unprofessional, just rude. You know, it's just like, oh, like, I just want to do my hair, like, I want to do this, I want to do that. Like, where is the etiquette? You know what I mean? Where is the etiquette? I remember one guy was constantly writing me and I was fully booked. I don't do hair full time. And I think that's always been evident. I always say it. I'm a full-time medical student. Not anymore now, but, you know, I was a full-time medical student. So for me, like, I don't even address anything outside of that, because you already know this is not my primary, like, priority. I don't do this for a living, you know what I mean? And he kept writing to me until the conversation went to, like, this guy was cussing because he was frustrated that he couldn't get an appointment, and, you know, he's dropping F-bombs on some, and I'm like, I appreciate that you want to do your hair with me so badly, you know, but how you're going about it, I'm not comfortable for you to even come for me to do your hair anymore, because I'm just like, what's going to happen if you're now frustrated about something in person? I'm now worried about my safety and all these things. And, you know, we are not doing this in like in a braid shop or something like that. Like, you're coming into a place of privacy for me, and, you know, in a safe space, and you're now a guy. Now I'm worrying about my safety, you know, small things like that. Or people who are trying to get special benefits for one reason or the other.
That's another thing. Oh,
it's so common. It's just so common.
Oh my days. You know, the funny thing is that they're really saying,
people are so casual.
Because, like, for example, we have early bed for a reason. We are not joking that we say early bed ends this day.
Mm-hmm.
You think
at this time,
on the next day you can come on message because you know,
or 2 hours later,
like. And we always still have to maintain our professionalism, because
exactly,
we can't be
and across the board as well, because
everything.
The moment you're letting your friends play around, it's going to transfer. So it's like I've had one person. The stories are endless.
Things we say in business, I'm like, you could have just, like, if you asked a day before, you could have gotten this thing. But
and
no, you knew.
Keep putting flyers and everything so that you can access it on
this
time.
This is how I live by the philosophy, by human beings, we are not, because now I feel like if you are trying to harm me, or everyone is aware of their actions, that's how I feel.
Mm-hmm. You know what you're doing.
If you waited till this day to message me, I feel like you just wanted to.
You're actively doing this on purpose.
Like, I feel like, because there are people on the day of the party, they are calling me, do you still have tickets for me? I'm like, so I'm trying to plan, I'm moving about, you still want me to come and deliver tickets or get you tickets in your hand somehow? Like, if you called me a day before, 2 days before, I would have come to your house. But it's like, now what do you want me to do?
Exactly. There you go. And I feel like people don't. I think this is why it's so important to talk about, like, even the behind the scenes of these businesses. Like, the reason why I believe, and maybe you can even explain this better, or I don't know, the reason why, you know, also these tickets are sold not on the day is also to secure what's going on behind the scenes, the venues, the what. Because, it's not just because we want.
People want us to take a big risk for them, and then because there was one time, like, I can't remember, but there was one time we booked a club and people didn't really show up. Yeah? So it's like people really want to use Chicago, yeah. Mm-hmm. But we cannot, let me say it now, we cannot use Chicago if a certain number of people are not coming out.
Yes.
It's as simple as that.
And we need a guarantee of some sort.
Yeah, we need a guarantee of some sort. And it's not motivating. Recent times have not been motivating enough to take that risk. Mm-hmm. Because most people are buying on the day or like buying some late. Because also, having a lot of money, like if 100 people buy their tickets beforehand, we know that, okay, 100 people are coming, yeah, it makes us do more.
Yes.
Because if 100 people are coming and we already have it, that means we can plan for 200 people.
Yes.
But if 100 people or if 10 people have bought their tickets only, we can, who are we? Yeah. Realistically, who are you planning for?
Exactly, because that also shows the level of interest, and we have to gauge if this makes sense for us to go and book some big ass venue or an expensive venue, and all these things.
Somebody messaged our page. We appreciate your messages, by the way, but it was just funny. They were like, after they asked us if we were doing an opening semester, we said yes. The poster came out, and then the person came again, and then they asked, why not Chicago? And it was a funny message because I was like, we opened Chicago. Mm-hmm. Do you think if we could use Chicago, we wouldn't?
This is the thing, like I said, I think it's because people don't know behind the scenes. And I hope this episode opens up people to realize that, wow, the more we participate, the likely we are to get those venues that we enjoy most or we like most. Because I think, if you've never experienced, this, I think I know a bit of, event planning in Debrecen, because the first African themed gala, I was part of the committee. I was in the Students d'Afrique combined with the NSAD, and we were planning that. So I got to see a lot of what happens behind the scenes, especially with the venues. So really seeing how important it is for those tickets to sell before the event, because everything needs to be planned. It needs to be paid for people to enjoy and people to be like, and when people are now like, oh, this event it sucked, it wasn't this, it wasn't that. They don't really see the amount of work and money that needs to be invested first to make the event as glamorous and as enjoyable as they want it. So we actually need your cooperation for you to have a good time.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
I help you, you help me.
Exactly. And
it's not as if we are asking for too much. We're not asking break a leg or something.
We're just asking buy the early bird tickets, which are even cheaper. Yeah.
Just buy on time. So it's like, but trust me, we know where we are headed. I mean, we're trying our best in a city like Debrecen.
Yeah. And I hope the podcast gets in a lot of places. We get to talk about our city. I think for me, this is the root of Debrecen Diaries. I don't intend to stay here forever. Yeah. But like right now as I'm here, I want to leave something, or I want to also start a conversation that will probably continue long after I'm gone, that will grow the city, that will grow the people that come out from this city, and that also advertises different things that are going on. So if you come here, you talk about Ivo, I realize that like as years go by, of course maybe there are people who knew about me from years back, but I bump into people who don't know about my page all the time because there's such a big turnover of people. So if we have these types of platforms, then people can get to know, they're listening to the Journey of Life podcast, they're learning about school, they're learning about extra things, they get to learn about, Party with Ivo, they get to learn about DJ Nandas, they get to learn about different things that they may be interested in that they don't know is even going on in the city. So
that's why you should keep it on going. Don't relent.
No, this one, I'm relentless. I'm relentless. And I think I found such a good space for myself. And like you said, support system. The reason why we're actually recording in a different location is because of the support. Yeah. The reason why I have this podcast is because of the support. Someone who believes in you more than what you're even believing in yourself. I listened to a lot of podcasts. I know this podcast. But for me, having one, it was just so far-fetched I was like, who's gonna listen to this? You know, I mean, I had a YouTube channel already, which was feeling like it's on its knees, and I couldn't keep up with it. And it's been difficult. I see the engagement, I see the people, like the content that the little audience that I have, they want, but I just can't figure it out to keep it moving constantly. And then this space, I found my comfort. I found a comfortable space for me where I don't feel like I'm grasping at straws just to put out one piece of content, you know. So it's been really great, and I think having a support system that's good, maybe it's even something we need to talk about. Like, we're saying, oh, we have the support, like, but how do you do that? Like, how do you develop this network of people that are propping you up, you know? I think you become that person as well. You can't.
You have to be one of the person. Like, I feel like you get what you receive, because if you are supportive of people, only the bad people would not support you when you are in need. Because if you know you are surrounded by good people, like, it's just, if you give in good energy, you get good energy. That's just how I feel.
You really get what you give.
So if you come into a space, you know, shy, timid, or quiet, not shy or anything, just not saying anything, not even giving out anything, that's how everyone around you, like, it will be hard for somebody to come up and just talk to you,
unless there's someone like me where I'm curious like that, like if someone's like super quiet and everything, for me that's what attracts me to like try to have a conversation with them or something, of course, if they're receptive, you know. If
someone is just in their own, I'm on my own too, like, that's how
exactly. You just read the room, you know, kind of thing.
If I see you making an effort, oh, trust me, I'm gonna make times two your effort.
And honestly, like, I realized that, like, a lot of the, you know, connections that I just made from having small little conversations with people have become an incredible support. You know, these people are not even people who are intimately involved in my life, or I would say they're even friends, but they're acquaintances who are like, I can still contact and it's networking as well, because that network will be part of your support. Because even your closest friends, they might not have certain knowledge in certain areas, but those connections are going to be the support you need for certain businesses or certain like avenues. They're going to be the people who are going to help you to find your next job. They're going to be the people who you're going to sleep on their floor when you're homeless. I don't know, you know, like, life gets deep like that. So I think it's important.
People think life is so short. I say life is a marathon. So
pace yourself. Pace yourself.
Exactly. So, like, I'm never in something for the now. If I see I cannot sustain something for like a year or two, I never dibble or dabble in it. Oh,
that's a good one.
Because like, I feel even my whole DJP, like, I used to do a lot of free gigs. This is something people never knew. Like, I used to do a lot of free gigs, but I knew where I was headed. Like,
eventually,
it was to gain my experience. And now, today, even if it's just I'm nowhere, but today, if I call something for you, you can't argue with me right now with my, like, you can't, because what I've done, like, you can't really.
There's value, and that value is increasing.
Like, people think about money too much. People think about money too much. Like, money is not everything. Money is, we know money is the goal, but even if you start making money now, let's say you make money this year, is there a guarantee you're going to make that money next year?
Of course not. There never is.
So it's like, why not do what you can do other than money first, and then the money, I feel money would always come along.
Absolutely.
If you are doing something, you know, that is profitable, or
and
like,
if you're
it's
consistent,
good, and
if you're vigilant,
and you're putting in all the normal things that you should put in, money is going to come along. Trust me. You don't need to hike your price from the beginning of the. Nah, it's not. Trust me, because one day, because there's only so much you can hike your price. There's a ceiling.
Yes, there always is.
There is only so much you can.
There always is.
There's only so much you can raise your price to as an entrepreneur or like something. So it's like if you start charging like 70% of the ceiling when you are starting off.
When the quality is not.
When the quality doesn't match.
That's true.
It's going to take you a hard time to reach where you want to reach.
Yeah, I think I've been doing a lot of like this reevaluating, you know, now that I have a bit of time and, you know, I have time to like really strategize how I want to do my life as a person who's very much interested in business. I'm still very much interested in my medical field and my hands everywhere. All these things are things that I'm passionate about and I'm very, very invested in, you know, and like trying to figure out how am I going to marry this together? How am I going to grow it? Because I want it to grow, you know what I mean? So it's been a lot of like thinking about things like this, you know, like, okay, if this is the quality of my products, can I really ask this? But I think that's one thing. You need to learn and know your value. Yeah. And I think like people always interpret that like, oh, you need to know that your value is high. No, you need to know what your value is. If your value is low, you need to know that, okay, right now, my value is low.
Very essential.
Yes. So we're not asking you to be delusional and tell yourself that, oh my gosh, knowing your value is knowing that you are at the top of the pyramid. No, knowing your value is understanding exactly where you stand realistically. So knowing that actually at this point, I don't have this and I don't have this, so I can't expect this. Okay, but I want that. So how can I improve? How can I get myself there? I think it's so important, even in general, like know where you stand, know your value in your business, know your value in your relationship, know where you stand. You know, you're like, you know, you're expecting, I don't know, some wife returns. You know, all these things are not, maybe we're overestimating or underestimating our value. So
you need to have a self-reflection.
Yeah, and
there's no
honest.
shame in knowing your worth. Like there's really no shame.
Yes.
Like, if you feel okay, you've not done enough to like. There's really no shame. You can't do enough. Like you eventually can't do enough to get there. Like I for example, let me just use someone like Ashake now. Like 3 years ago, if you wanted to book Ashake, it was probably like peanuts. I'm not even going to lie. Yeah. We
didn't know him.
So you didn't even know him 3 years ago. But today,
it's different.
You cannot even get it. Like you can't.
These people are filling up the O2 and I don't know
so
wherever else.
It was gradual. And why I like Ashake's story so much is because Ashake is before his come up, he did everything. He was everything. He was trying to make it. Yeah, but a lot of people, maybe they see some clips, you know, on the side. But I went back to actually look at this guy's life. In his university, he was dancing, he was singing. So
he's been about that life from back then.
About that life. Whether it did not make him a millionaire in his first time doing it, it's been from his university.
Which means he's actually been consistent. Yeah. We see the blow up and we're like, they're just blowing up out of nowhere, but we don't see the workout.
He's been consistent. I'm not even sure if I can do something for that long. And if I don't blow, I don't know how I would do it, because I was like, wow.
That's what you think until you see the time, you know. I'm like, I've been doing hair for like 7 years, and I'm like, what? That's crazy. Almost a decade. I didn't feel it, you know. I didn't really feel it. And even if I see, like, of course, I'm not like the best in the world, or I don't even know. Maybe where I am.
If they want to mention the best, honestly, like
I hope I'm among them. You know what I mean? Like, but my own view of my own personal growth from like where I used to be and where I am now, the skill itself, and how even my platform had grown. Like my
look at your Instagram shows it. Like.
Yes, if you just scroll down, you will see the craziness, and I'm just like, wow, you know. And even like my brand, how it's growing, and even the support around it, and you know, seeing that there are people who appreciate and see the vision where it's going, and they are there for the ride. You know what I mean? It's really empowering. But I think it's a testament that, you know, if you're putting in that constant effort, because I think with certain things that I feel like I haven't been consistent in, like for example with my YouTube, that's why it didn't grow. I wasn't consistent in it, and I was trying to be like, there's lacking a lot of consistency in my life, and there's a lot of certain areas where I do want to make progress. So I started listening to this podcast, and these women, they have a podcast, and two of them, one of them is married, 3 kids, has other businesses, you know, and everything. She is there every week. They upload the episode no matter what, and I'm like, what's my excuse? You know what I mean? I think that's what really pushed me with this podcast. I said, okay. And I think I used to overwhelm myself with, you know, the vision of what I wanted to be, to the point that it would discourage me, because I would keep comparing myself, you know, to where I haven't been. I haven't even done the work to be there.
That's
you know what I mean?
You know, like, in as much as don't create a goal, create 2 goals for yourself, yeah? One that is achievable.
Yes.
Yeah, and then one that, you know, in long term would be achievable.
Sustainable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't create, like, it's not, if you want to start a YouTube channel, don't like be expecting 1K views on your first video, or don't. No. If you even have 100 views, be grateful. Be grateful. So it's not, life doesn't, I mean, there are people who are lucky and their first one is a hit, but it's not like that for majority of us.
Exactly.
Like,
and I think that's the reality. This is why I said people need to learn the reality of life, that, like, you know, maybe social media makes it seem like these success stories are so much that you will have one too, and that might not be the case. But I think consistency, hard work actually does pay off, and I've seen it like in a lot of, you know, observing other people, and I was saying that I'm not working hard enough. I'm not just being consistent, you know, like just keeping it steady. Like, so that's when I started to be like, with this podcast, I'm going to make a realistic goal that is sustainable. Of course, you know, I look at other podcasts and I'm like, wow. And some people upload stuff every day, you know, but I see weekly podcasts that I listen to and that I really enjoy. And I saw that this is not realistic for me. I will not be consistent. You know what I mean? Because I was looking at some of the things I was juggling with, and I'm like, I can just focus on being consistent at this thing. Okay, I really want my podcast to be video podcast. I want these microphones in there. I want this nice backdrop, and I want to do this and I want to do that. You know what? Have you recorded the episode? Has someone? It sounds ridiculous when you're saying it out loud, but we really do think like this. We really do want our dreams to, you know, come out like that. And, you know, if you're a really meticulous and perfectionist person like me, like these things, they're so important, you know. Then I was like, okay, if you see our recording equipment, I will not say it because you guys are already enjoying the content, the content, and it's okay. And I think it's
doing the job. That's what it's for. Like,
and for me, when I say the podcast is doing good, it's not because I feel like I don't know, like some of the podcasts that I listen to, I'm not that big. I'm nowhere near any big thing, you know. But I when I say it's going good, is my headspace. I feel confident about it. I feel that I'm making an impact, not only in at least one person's life, but in my own life. I'm building something in myself that will keep my journey going. And if it helps other people, that's also great, because that's also part of the point. And I'm like, okay, let's just build that consistency. Okay, let's just make sure that the audio is good enough that people can listen. There's not too much background noise that's annoying, that's disturbing. And people watch. People give feedback. I can see the numbers. And I was like, wow, that consistency, that's the quality. I realized I need to improve this in my life in every single aspect. And maybe even the things I'm doing really good at, I might be amazing at it. So consistency is key, guys. Let's keep pushing that. It's not easy. Sometimes you fall off, but like, make up for it. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm going to do. I'm saying it here so that, you know, I can be held accountable because I said it. I'm going to compensate for the episodes that didn't come out. If it means I'm going to be uploading weekly, that's what I'm going to do until I catch up. Yeah. But maybe I'm just like 2 episodes behind. Yeah, because it's a fortnight podcast. Yeah, because I said I want to be consistent, so let's start there. You know, and maybe eventually we'll make it weekly, but that depends on, you know, I realize that it's okay for me to feel like this is what I can do because I have other things going on, you know, and I'm figuring out how to handle that. And until I'm ready to be like those women with kids, with this, with that, this is gonna be me, guys. And that's okay, you know. Yeah, it was really, really nice having you over on the podcast. And I love that you're also like an elaborate talker. So it makes the conversation really flow, you know? Yeah, because I am quite the talker. And this is why we're here. This
is why you have a podcast.
Yeah, to do that. I'm really hoping and wishing for the best for you. And I can see the vision, I can see the passion, and most importantly, I think one thing I really like, I see how much you appreciate, you know, the people that are consuming your service. I can see that you value that. So to the people who are going to go to these parties and who are going to be a part of IVO, because it's not just you, the planners, it's also the people who consume this. They clearly value, you know, you guys and your support and what you want, you know, to see, and they value your feedback. So I think keep considering, you know, their efforts and keep considering what's going on behind the scenes. You know, let's make this stuff grow. Let's have everything that pops in the whole world come from this place, you know. So with that, I say to you, life is but a journey, and bon voyage.
Bye, guys.
Bye.